Good morning. My name is Ashley Rogers. I am currently here in the Great Northwest. Came up here for a conference in Seattle and just found an amazing spot to start filming my video. I actually live in Texas. I've been in Texas for almost 23 years and away from most of my family who grew up here in the Northwest, and where I currently am not staying with, but about to go see my brother and sister and their family up there. So I'm super excited about that. But this video is just going to be a little bit about my journey. I've been carnivore since beginning of February-ish 2023, and yeah, it's something that's been an incredible journey so far. I'm absolutely loving it. But there's a lot of history leading up to that, so I kind of wanted to go into that. Weight loss has been nice. I've definitely lost some weight on the carnivore diet, but the type 2 diabetes is something that I wanted to focus in on a little bit more on this video, as I had no idea what type 2 diabetes was, and what the outcome. I heard of it, of course. I just didn't know the severity. I didn't know what caused it. I didn't know anything about it. So I started this journey about six, 7 years ago, and I'd gotten up to my heaviest weight at that time once before, and I was about 250 pounds. It was crazy. I was eating terribly. I'd never controlled my diet. I ate whatever fast food, junk food, 6 Dr. Peppers a day. Dr. Pepper was my go-to drink. Drank tons of them. Fast food all the time. Anything that was laying around, I grabbed it, ate it. I had a bottomless pit, I just ate. Sugar was, of course, my weakness. Ate any kind of sugary snack I could find, dessert, whatever. But I got up to about 250 pounds, wasn't feeling great. Obviously had a lot of issues and conditions. But weird thing is, and what really got me started on this understanding what was going on with my body was the weight loss. I actually started dropping a lot of weight. Hadn't changed my diet, hadn't exercised, hadn't done anything. And I went from about 250 to about 210 and was getting pretty concerned. I lost about 40 pounds, no idea why. Couldn't have been my diet, couldn't have been the exercise. I wasn't doing any. So it scared me a bit. I went to the doctor, which I never saw a doctor. Actually, I had to find a doctor. I didn't even have a doctor at the time. So I found a doctor, went to the doctor, did some blood work. And of course that blood test came back in, and doctor immediately, very, very highly concerned. My A1C score was 11.3, which for those who know, you know, that's very high, pretty off the charts high, and that's what was doing it. Pre-diabetic or diabetic numbers, basically you want your A1C below 5.7, and you're not considered diabetic. Anything above that, 5.7 to I think 6.2 is pre-diabetic. So I was clearly off the charts, and that's what was happening. So the crazy part is my doctor immediately said, you know, of course they want to get me on these medicines. They want to put me on I don't even remember what medicine it was, but I knowing that medicine was not really my path. It's not something that I've ever really done before, and I wanted to avoid. You know, I said, you know, what are the side effects? What good's it going to do? And of course, you listed the side effects, and I knew I'd seen all the commercials on TV that list how wonderful the medicine is, but there's this side effect, this side effect, this side effect, this side effect, and absolutely seems insane to me. So I asked the doctor. I said, all right, I haven't changed anything in my diet. I haven't done everything to exercise. I know those are things that can help me out. And he basically said, no, you're too far gone at this point. He said, it's ridiculous. This number is really high. You need to be on medicine immediately. And so he wrote me a prescription. Before I left, I asked him, I said, all right, so let's say I do go get your medicine and I get on this medicine. What good is it going to do me? I said, how many points will it bring my A1C score down, which is a new term that I just learned. And he said, oh, it's probably good for about 2 points, probably high 8s or maybe 9, somewhere around that range if you're lucky. And I looked at him and just said, so I'm still type 2 diabetic, still have this, and now I'm just on medicine and still have some major issues. What else can I do? And of course he said, you can change your diet and your exercise. I'm going to sign you up for a nutritionist, and sent me over to a nutritionist to talk to about that. At that stage, I had no idea what carbs were. Just really never paid attention. I just ate standard American diet, no real depth of knowledge about what it was. Very thankful for my wife, who had actually been dealing with her own issues, a gluten sensitivity and a gluten intolerance, and so she had been doing a lot of research and had been for the last few years. So she obviously reacted immediately as well. She was scared for me and didn't want my health to degrade. So she took the opportunity to really kind of start educating me a little bit about it, and tell me what I can't have and what I shouldn't eat. And but she had been looking at a paleo diet, and she had been considering that, so that just kind of pushed her over the edge and said, yeah, that's what we need to do. Let's do this paleo diet and essentially eliminate any kind of carbs, any kind of sugars, carbs mainly from breads, pastas, starches, things like that. And so never considered getting rid of the vegetables, getting rid of anything else that had carbs in it. Just tried to focus on mainly the breads and the pastas and the sugars. And that's the route we decided to go. So when I had the scare like that, I was pretty self-motivated at that point to make a change. I knew that could impact my life. My life was on the line, and there were some pretty scary future paths ahead of me if I didn't change something. So we went all in. I did go to that nutritionist appointment, by the way. So I went to the nutritionist, which I thought was quite hysterical, and maybe just the lack of understanding of me. It was a first-time appointment, but her main path was just eat everything in moderation. Let's tone back. Don't need a whole pack of Oreo cookies. Just have 2 or 3. Which blew my mind. I said to her, I said, why wouldn't I just cut out the sugars completely? And she was like, well, most people can't do that, and they're gonna get back on the sugars, and so we just want to see you go down a little bit. Just eat in moderation. That kind of blew my mind. My wife had been doing the gluten research and coming off of all gluten, and of course that was a lot of learning for her. And so I asked the nutritionist, I said, well, what about gluten, and getting rid of gluten? Is that going to have any impact on me? And she looked at me, she goes, I don't even know what gluten is. And this was coming from a nutritionist. So I walked out. I took the information she gave me, I trashed it, and I was like, I'm going to start my own research, try and figure this out. And again, thankfully for my wife, she had already done a lot of that, and we went hardcore paleo. We changed the diet. We decided this was going to be nothing. I mean, it was cold turkey. It was overnight. We went straight paleo, got rid of all carbs and sugars as best we could. Again, we didn't know very much about it, and we hit that solid for 3 months. I was also seeing a chiropractor at the time. Loved my chiropractor. He was great, but he was a research fanatic, and I trusted him. So unlike the other doctor that I'd never even met before, who gave me my blood work results, I went to see my chiropractor and said, all right, how serious is this? Am I going to die tomorrow? What's going on? And he said it was serious. It was definitely serious. But he said it's not going to kill you tomorrow. And if you want to change your diet, that was his recommendation too. He said, let's really hit it hard for 3 months and let's see what happens. If you have to go on the medication after that and you're not seeing results, then so be it. But he was the first one that from a doctor's perspective, or somebody that in the medical profession that I trusted, that actually gave me the information I needed to hear at that time, and that was let's start making a change through diet and exercise. Well, exercise was never my strong suit. I always was athletic. I have always been an athlete and enjoyed sports, but just to go out and jog around the block for the fun of it, no, that was never me. And especially then when I was at my heaviest and not feeling well, no way was I going to do that. I went out for a few walks, I think, a couple of times, but definitely nothing strenuous, nothing that was going to make a difference in the way I was feeling, but it was the diet. The diet is what I changed. To keep this somewhat short, 3 months went by and it was hard. I kept pulling things up that I said, hey, I want to eat this. And my wife would say, well, no, that's got carbs in it. No, that you can't have that either. And I got really frustrated, really upset, because it was confusing. It was hard. I wasn't used to eating this way. I was used to the standard American diet. And we'd go to a restaurant and I couldn't have this, and I couldn't have that. And I did feel very restricted, just because I didn't know. I didn't have the knowledge of what it was that I was eating. But I was hardcore about it. We both were. And mine was, again, I was solely focused on my A1C score, getting that back into the right range. And amazing results. I did hardcore for 3 months and didn't cheat one time that I can remember. This was, again, about 6 years ago. And when I got back to the point where I did my next blood work, I was over the moon excited, because I took my A1C from 11.3 to 5.7. I was right back down at pre-diabetic levels, and that was in 3 months, which was astounding to me and also maddening to me. I got pretty upset. I went to the doctor, and his jaw hit the floor. He was kind of a newer doctor. You could tell he hadn't done too much, had spent too many years. That's why I was able to get him as a doctor, because I needed a doctor who was accepting new patients. But he saw my scores and he was like, what are you doing? And I looked at him, and again, I was a little bit perturbed, but I looked at him and said, well, I'm not taking your medicine. And I said, I changed my diet. I said, I didn't even exercise that much. I literally did this with diet. And he looked at me and just like, wow, well, that's phenomenal. I've never seen results like this. That's amazing. Great job. That was about it. I didn't go back to that doctor, and thought stupidly myself. I was like, I got this. Now I know what to do, and I can keep this under control the rest of my life. So that leads me up to the next couple of years, where slowly, I'm doing great. Let me have a slice of pizza here. Let me have a Costco pizza was my favorite. I'd go get a Costco pizza. It was cheap. It was filling. I loved it. And I'll have an ice cream with it every once in a while as well, just as long as it was occasionally. Over the next 4 or 5 years, I knew it. My numbers were back up again. I had done the whole finger pricking, check your blood sugar levels, but I just kind of avoided it, because I knew in my head, things were getting back out of control again. My weight had gotten back up. I got back up to 250 pounds, and I knew it was getting serious again. So kind of leads me up to where I was at in January of 2023, knowing that, all right, it's time. I need to go back and do some blood work, find out again where my A1C scores are at, and what else is going wrong with me. I was back up to my heaviest. I wasn't feeling good about myself. I needed to make some more changes. So that was when a buddy of mine told me about the carnivore diet. And I was like, man, I can eat meat. That sounds good. Gave me several videos to watch. First started watching Ken Berry and some Paul Saladino, some Anthony Chafee. Just started educating myself. And the more I listened, especially to Dr. Berry, the more it was obvious to me this is the direction I need to go. But it was going to be a hard change. And this was still early on. And then I saw Carrie's video, Homestead How, his 30-day video, and just completely, actually I take it back. I did start the carnivore diet, and then I think I saw it shortly after, because I think Carrie and I started about the same time on the carnivore journey here. And but I saw his video, and then I was just motivated to the next level. And I was like, that's it. I'd already seen weight loss. I'd already felt better. I was starting to hop out of bed in the mornings, having the energy that I have never experienced before, or I can't remember ever experiencing that before. And just so many things were going right. I absolutely just felt better. And the weight was coming off, so that was good. But my numbers were still high when I was checking my blood sugar levels, and I wasn't seeing a huge impact right away on that. But for those who don't know, the A1C is actually an average of your blood sugar levels over a 3-month period. Don't ask me how they do that, but that's what the result is measuring. And so it does take a while for that to clear out. And I guess at that time, my blood sugar had gotten up so high again. It was, I think it was up to 9.6 is when I measured it again and did the blood work in January. And so, my blood's more like maple syrup. I mean, it's thick. It's got a lot of sugars in it, and probably tasted a bit like maple sugar too. But it was rough. And so I started seeing the results, and I was excited about it, started feeling good. And I just kind of did it privately. I obviously let my wife know this is something I was going to try, and big hesitation. I don't know, meat only. That's I don't know about that. What about all your veggies? What about all your vitamins? And everything we've been taught for the last 60 years. I'm not that old, by the way. But the food pyramid and everything we learned in school, and this is nutrition, and this is how you're supposed to eat a good, proper diet. So anyway, I said 30 days. Give me 30 days. Let me be the guinea pig. I'll try it. I don't care. I'll try it. Let's see how well I do, and then we'll see what happens from there. After 30 days, I was feeling great, seeing the results, seeing the fat come off, and it's hard when it's yourself. You don't see it as much because it's a daily slow change. But when you start seeing pictures of yourself, you start going, wow, it's actually, I do look a bit different than what I used to be. And that started happening where people started commenting, wow, you're looking good. What are you doing? And that's where I started getting excited about the results that I was seeing. My brother, we're the Carnivore brothers. And my brother's name is Rhett. I mentioned my name's Ashley. Yes, my mom was a huge Gone with the Wind fan. And that's where we got our names. But we won't go down that road. My brother Rhett, he lives in Portland, Oregon, and we've been away from each other for a long time, but he had seen my some of the pictures, and he just texted me and said, man, you're looking good. What are you doing? And this is my brother, so I opened up to him a little bit and said, hey, this is what I'm doing, and man, I'm having great results. I love it. This carnivore diet sounds crazy, but it's working, and I feel great. My brother at the time, which I'm sure you'll get to hear his story as well, and we'll pair some of this together in a future video. But he was up to 300, close to 300 pounds, and he was the heaviest he's ever been too. And he saw what happened to me, and he said, I'm going to do this too. So he started asking me questions, and we started working together on it, and texting back and forth, and trying to keep each other motivated. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. See him, I saw it in me, but to see him change, that means a lot. And he's loving it. He's doing great. And you'll know more about him soon, but it was so cool to see his transformation too. Sorry, I'm a crier, and so is he, by the way. So we have to try and keep it together a little bit. But yeah, so that's where we're at. So I'd gotten back up to 200 and I think probably about 240 pounds before I started the carnivore. I'm now sitting right about 190. I hit my lowest weight honestly since probably high school, 188. Super proud of that the other day. Some's come back on this last week, but it's going to fluctuate a little bit, I think, here and there. But yeah, that's where I stand right now. Haven't done my blood work since February. I'm due to go back to a doctor in November, but I'll probably run some more tests and lab work. But early indications when I did it, all my my cholesterol numbers have come down. My A1C, of course, is down. Now I check my blood sugar levels. They're right back in normal range, of course. No issues there at all. And I can tell because of how I feel. I just feel great, and I feel really, really good. So that's my introduction. That's been my journey so far. We're excited about all this carnivore community that's gotten together. I'm just so thankful for Kerry and Homestead How and what he's doing on his channel, and just really bringing a community together. Unlike I've ever seen. It's a lot of fun. I've just been watching from a distance, commenting a few here and there, but you know, I just decided we're in too. Let's start a video documentary, whether we get the YouTube channel fully going or not. But my brother and I have had some great success. My mom is doing it now. My dad is doing it now. My dad looks great. He's only been doing carnivore for 30-ish days, maybe 40. I'm not sure exactly the number he's on, but he's down 25 pounds. Looks great. My dad is 76 years old. He was on the path to sitting in the recliner, and he looked terrible. He was on his path to sitting in the recliner all day, and when he did get up, it was a lot of work, and he decided he was going to try his carnivore thing out. And I went over and visited the other day, and he's running around the house and mowing the lawn, and just looks fantastic. He's got a few more years ahead of him now, which is amazing to me, and super, super exciting. So yeah, before I become a total wreck here, I'm going to stop the video, and I just thank you for watching, and we'll have more coming very, very soon. But I wanted to get at least my history and my story thus far documented, and we'll look forward to sharing more soon.